The Jet Set is live this week, and it is finally draft week. What are they just going to do at 7? Are we going to trade back? Are we going to trade up? Or are we just going to stay put? A lot of different options on the table. And we're going to get into that Aaron Rodgers exit rant for a little bit. I got some things I want to get off my chest. I don't know about you, Alan, but, you know, lock in with us. We're going to dive into all of that here in a little bit. Ready.
Ready?
Jet
Jet
Set.
set.
Go.
Go, 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 go. No to the mall.
Loud going down the right side at the goal line, leaving a tap. Oh, it's free ball. Oh, it's a Jet
Never too
touchdown.
nose. Pack my bags and go, 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 go. Serve me a brick at the stove. Looking like a track in the post. Go, 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 go. From the hills to the moat. Yeah, baby, yeah, we go like don't go. Yeah, in this world, everything's so more. Yeah, behind this wall, there is no photos. Jump on this bitch, go, yeah. Across my neck, yeah, go. Watch how you go, hey, yeah, Ocho. I need some more, hey, yeah, pronto, poncho. Jumped out the coupe with the
Away by Sauce Gardner.
Smoking cookie in Atlanta, everyone you a recreation. You already know we made it. We ain't even gotta say shit. Some of the trap will lit, some of the trap will fake it. Junior say I'll bring the pay out, bring the pay out.
What's up? What's up? It is the Jet Set podcast, and we are live again, heading into draft week, the highly anticipated draft week. I feel like every year, it's like we go into draft week, and it's like, oh, okay, it's draft season. But as soon as the draft week, a couple weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, and then when it comes to the actual draft week, it's a lot of excitement. In the with the energy of fans. So, I'm excited to, dive into this segment. How you feeling, with the draft being tomorrow, Alan? You know what I'm saying? What's the vibes?
Man, I'm at a point. I'm like, yo, I've been waiting for this. Like, it's just like a long time coming. But we're here. It's one day away. I got highs all over my arms because I'm anxious. But
Yeah.
I think no matter what, it's a lot of good that's gonna come out of this. I think, well, as long as we don't, these things just don't pick the wrong guy. But
Yeah.
I think that's just where we're at now. Like, I think it doesn't really matter who we pick as long as we pick the right guy. But I'm excited. I think there's a lot of potential in this class, even though I know everyone feels a little down about this class. But I think we're in a good position at 7. Just gotta see what happens.
Yeah. Just a wait and see game. And like we've been saying this whole time, this 7 pick is tricky. It's kind of like, people can reach for people in front of us. We don't want to let the right or like the wrong player slip to anybody. It's a very, weird position to be in because we're like very flexible. It's not like we're not locked into a certain player or pick, and depending on how the draft board falls, somebody might be there that nobody expected us to, have on the tables. And no, it's just a cool time to anticipate, but all of that comes to an end. The mock drafts, I'm tired of the mock drafts. We're done with those. Because the real thing is tomorrow. So,
I'm happy. I'm happy
yeah,
about that. I'd say that
I
much.
know it's hopefully we hit on a few. We have hit on a few of these picks, just kind of knowing our team. But it's cool playing the guessing game. But now it's like, okay, I'm ready to see the real thing at this point, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, as I say, and it's hard because all it takes is one trade, and everyone's draft it's just thrown out the window because
yeah.
what, like, theoretically they can make a trade, and your whole mock draft is just so different because you're expecting them to be at 7, but they're at 15 now.
Yeah.
So you might have guessed it, but you don't know.
Yeah, I look. We better not trade down 15. I'll tell you that. That would be. I mean, with all the anticipation of who will be in that, between 5 and 10 range, it's like, we might as well
So,
just stay there. So,
so if
uh,
someone gave you their second this year and a third next year to go from 15 to 7, you'd say no.
depending on who the player is,
See, everything
depending on
just
depending on
depends. It's
yeah,
hard to
yeah.
say.
It
It's hard to
depends on
like
how
just
how the
totally
board
plan it out.
falls. Yeah, yeah.
All
It
right,
just
Here we go. Here we go.
yeah.
Steelers say we'll give you our first next year to trade it to 7 because we want Shador. You say no.
Their first round pick
So
next
the first
year.
round this year and first next year. I forgot what pick they are. I think they're like 19, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. You throwing a third this year? That's a deal. Because I'm gonna try to trade up a few spots to possibly get my guy.
That's fair.
That's gonna drop because 21. That's kind of like a
21, I think
curse.
they're 19. Okay.
19. Yeah. I think
I
they're
don't know what they are.
21. That's like a cursed draft triangle. That 19 through
Yeah.
21. A lot of
Yeah.
busts, have been picked in that 19 through 21 range. So I'm not excited about trading into that little cursed draft triangle there. But
Yeah, you're right. It's 21.
21, yeah, nah, that's a little too far for my liking.
Yeah,
But
I can see that.
but if we trade back and then kind of, you know, play dominoes and kind of move back up, I'm cool with it. We have some people saying that I only trade back if we get a Chris Olave, right? Then it's like, okay, that's that's interesting. I heard a lot of Jameson Williams, trades, possibilities. So it's gonna be exciting. I think we're not seeing a lot of moves usually, but like pre-draft, we have some trades that are in place, but
It's
nothing
not even a
really.
lot of noise either. Like,
It's not. It's
like
not.
up until this week, like, you didn't really hear a lot of draft rumors or like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like the most you've heard is that everyone seems to not like Shador. I heard so many reports about how he did bad in interviews, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes like going to it, like it really does feel blind. Like I definitely
It
couldn't tell you where he was leading, to be honest. Like Giants could take Shador. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, like it's very up in the air. So it's gonna be interesting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you just, I don't know, man. You just never know. And I feel like all this quietness right now, it might just blow up like right on draft day. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be it's gonna be very interesting.
I know the
But
Bears
so
are looking to trade up in the top 10.
Bears, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're pick 10 right now. They're trying to trade up. And a lot of people think it's for Genty.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that either. Like that's another player that's pushing players towards us, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, this 7th spot is very flexible. We can either trade back or we can stay put and just take what the draft pushes back to us. So, it's gonna be very, very interesting. We have I guess our final mock drafts that we can talk about for the last time. Uh who we wanna let me see here. Who we wanna pull up first? Where's this mod?
And shout out to everyone commenting on YouTube.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see it all.
Yeah.
You got some good stuff. I know a lot of people. It seems like we really do have a Warren crowd here.
Yeah, the Warren Warriors are very present. I'm one of them for sure. But let me see here. Let me see if we can pull up one of these mocks. All right. I'll pull mine up really quick. So,
AJ. Shout out AJ, man.
what's up? What's up, AJ? What's up, AJ? What's up? What's up? Fields gang, Justin Fields gang.
Yes, sir.
We're good. We're good. How are you? How are you? It's an exciting time. Welcome to your first Jets draft. I know you were
Yeah.
just part of the Steeler Nation, but now, hey, welcome to the Just Draft. Happy to have you here. Uh,
Appreciate you.
yeah, Just Draft Day is something special to us. It's either well, actually, let me just tell you. I can tell you what to expect from Jets fans on draft day. Half of us are going to be excited. Half of us are going to be devastated. So, just
Yeah.
that's usually how it goes.
Yeah. A lot of us live in like absolutes, like as if we take whoever they don't want, it's a terrible pick.
Oh yeah,
So get
oh
ready
yeah,
for a lot of that.
yeah. So welcome to the madness. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If we take a quarterback, that would be insane. First
Oh
round.
yeah, get ready for Jalen Milroe.
Yeah,
Trade up into the first. That would
yeah,
make
yeah. That
it
would
would
be.
make my reporting life easier, but it would be insane.
I mean, honestly, we do have a lot of draft picks. We have 8 draft picks this year, so I imagine us moving up and down. You know, the like in the rounds for sure. Uh, because who's gonna want 8? Like a class of 8 is a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's a big class to bring in. So
Yeah, and like I don't know, I always like the way I look at drafts are, you get the guys you feel most confident in, you
hmm
know, like quality over quantity.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it should be a good one. Yeah. So to the Bears fan base, yeah, I couldn't even tell you how the Bears. I mean, I guess we can relate to them. I guess we can relate. Had a few good years, and here we are. Here we are. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So I guess this is my personal final mock draft right here. Um, I've taken this guy at pick 7 in every one of these mocks. I haven't changed up one bit. Tyler Warren, I know that I'm trying to do a reverse jinx in recent years. I've switched it up, and I never end up getting that guy. So, Tyler Warren, locked in with you from mock 1.0 all the way to the end. You're my guy. Lock it in. Um, it's not much for me to say more about him at this point. I just feel like he's that Swiss Army knife on offense that we can plug in and play, and he can be a good addition to the offense alongside Garrett Wilson. And yeah, man. I mean, Justin Fields, he loves tight ends. So, um, round 2, Andrew Makuba. Um, shout out Woody and Boy Green. They coined the phrase Makuba Matata. All right. No worries. He's actually a ball hawk at Texas. He's a good ball hawk. He knows how to find the ball, and he's a very instinctual DB. Safety. He can come down. He can tackle, and this Texas DB class has been pretty solid. They
Yeah.
have a link to somebody else as well too. In that what's the name? Jade Barron. Jade Barron. So
Mm-hmm.
that might be the pick at 7.
Cornerback.
Yeah, that might be the pick at 7. So, but
No, it's
round.
not. Don't even speak that into
I'm
existence,
just,
man.
I'm just trying to throw that out just in case, because you never know. You
I
never
think
know.
I think the entire fan base would just burn the Jets Wonder side
That would be
down.
that would be insane to be honest, especially with us already adding a corner. But you never know.
Yeah.
And I mean, we haven't seen AG draft before, so it's gonna be one of those. But yeah, round 3, Ozzy. Not much to say about him. 6'8", tackle. Come in, he can compete for the right tackle spot right away. I do think that we have faith in Chuka being like a spot start. We can kind of swap him out if he does bad, but Ozzy, he's a mountain of a man. So plug him in,
I agree.
draft him. Very solid pick. Not sure if he'll be there in round 3, but he was in this draft. Round 4, another safety, Jalen Reed. I don't mind going back-to-back safeties in between a couple rounds. Last time
Yeah,
we
I think
did
that was
that,
kind of crazy to be honest.
yeah. No, I mean last time we did that, we had The Jamal
Jamal
Adams, Marcus
Adams,
May.
Marcus May. Yeah.
That was a good little tandem we had there. And I mean, we do have Cisco on a 1 year, so even if we do end up keeping like you know I guess 4 safeties altogether, we can grab 2 in this draft and just kind of see who plays better. But Jalen Reed is another underrated safety out of Penn State. Uh, very, very instinctual from watching some of his tape. So, you know, there's Jalen Reed, there's Kevin Winston, those 2 safeties from Penn State, pretty good people. And, teammates with Tyler Warren, teammates with Olu. So it could be a little Penn State reunion, right down the street from Jersey, you know,
Yeah.
make it happen.
In the
Kyle
cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. See. But no. Round 5, Kyle McCord. Everybody's saying he's not going to be here. I mean, I honestly don't know where he's going to go in this
He's
draft.
gonna be there. He's gonna be there.
He's rising. He's 5th round. He's 3rd round. He's 2nd round. I don't know where he's going to be at.
Second round. Honestly, if
I'm
someone
just
took him in the
saying.
2nd round, I'd be like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know where he's gonna go, but I got him mid rounds. I feel like is a good spot for him. He's growing as a Jet fan favorite. Syracuse Jet fan. He's just one of those guys. That
Yeah.
fans would feel safe. With him kind of just sitting in the weeds waiting for his turn. Right. So, never know. CJ West, who's the D tackle, round 5, Shrine Bowl standout. I think we definitely have to add somebody to the D line, right? Like we have to add AG being a defensive coach. I feel like we have to add to the D line to some capacity. So, yeah, why not? And
Especially it's
then
not his guys. He just he's just taking
exactly.
on Robert Sala's guys.
Exactly. I feel like we might try to dip in the edge, bucket as well. Because behind Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, it's not really much depth there,
Real quick, someone asked, AJ asked, you cut Travis, that's a lot of QBs.
I think it'll be a thing where I don't think he'll get cut, but practice squad for sure. Maybe between Travis and Adrian Martinez, it'll be like a battle for who can who's like either practice squad or kind of like the 4th quarterback on the roster. I don't know, or like the 3rd, 4th quarterback. But yeah, no. If we get McCord, he definitely I guess has a spot locked in. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this regime have no ties to Travis, so I just see him being the odd man now as far as like the quarterback room, where just getting like the lesser end of the stick, especially if it doesn't ball out. Like now, if he comes in preseason and he's throwing 3 tutties a game, then we can work with something now. Then we might have 4 quarterbacks, on the roster, but we'll see. But
and what do you think about Quinn Ewers?
Quinn Ewers, I saw us. I saw that we had a meeting with them, and I don't know, man. I think he has bust potential. No, I'm not sure. I think the next Texas quarterback that's going to be good is a guy's name who rhymes with March Zanning. That's his name. His name rhymes with that. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It took me a minute. I was like, wait, what? I thought you were going a whole different direction with it. And I'm caught up.
His name rhymes with March Zanning. I don't want to say his name, but whatever is in the stars, so be it. I hope we're not in a position to draft him, but we'll see.
Yeah, and real quick about this whole Quinn Ewers thing, I'll be honest. When I watched the tape on him, I didn't like what I saw. I really didn't. Like he could be a good QB. I didn't like what I saw personally, and that's why I've kind of just stayed away from him. But it doesn't mean he can't develop. He's had a lot of good too. It's just not really a guy I would personally take. But it doesn't necessarily hurt to go take a guy that's been in a lot of big. And we spoke about this. Getting guys that's been in those big games. Quinn Ewers is one of those guys, especially being at Texas. You get to be put in a position to be in those big games and have a chance to win, which he's done. So I'll give him that credit.
Yeah, I'll give him that too. I just didn't like what I saw from him in the championship. I was just like, you're not that guy. I don't know. Like you're not giving me him, like qualities, So
yeah, it felt more like that. Like Texas was carrying him rather than he was doing for the Texas.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. He has more of a bust and boom potential to me. But yeah, I guess just to round it out, Nick Nash and Jeffrey Bassa. Nick Nash, quarterback turned wide receiver. One of those guys who can be, he to me he has like Cooper Cup type of qualities, but a flyer none the least. So a flyer at the least. But yeah, Nick Nash, cool name. So why not? And then Jeffrey Boss, I had him in an earlier mock, safety converted linebacker. I feel like we could dip into the linebacker bucket as well, just to have somebody behind our two young linebackers already. Hopefully Quincy gets an extension, but just in case, I can see us dipping into that linebacker pot as well. But yeah, that's my mock. Just wanted to not giving Himothy. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Quinn Ewers wasn't giving Himothy. So I have to see that dog in you in college to make me be like, okay, all right. I saw that dog in Justin Fields. I'll say that. I saw that dog Justin Fields in college. So yeah. Nick Nash gang. Yes, sir. My boy David. My boy David.
Boy Gritty's on here. Oh, that's crazy.
My boy Dev Gritty in the chat. Nick Nash.
Gritty,
dang. Nick Nash. Hey. I'll take Nick Nash. Could come in there.
I'll take Nick Nash. Honestly, I like Nick Nash as a pick. Especially in the 6th round. Like, it's like I think, it's a lot of upside there.
Yeah.
Like I think, 6th round, you could really just kind of shooting darts at guys, hoping you hit it. But like in reality, the hit rate is very low. But I think you get a guy like Nick Nash in the 6th round, feel pretty good about it. Like I don't think you expect him to become like a Garrett Wilson, but even if he just becomes like just a solid wide receiver 2, I mean even wide receiver 3, you win for sure.
Yeah, we need some vanilla in the wide receiver room. All right, Alan Lazard is the lightest person. He's the lightest person in the room right now, and he's borderline, right? He's borderline. So we need a little vanilla in the wide receiver room. Last time we had that, I think was Barrios.
Yeah,
Barrios, I think.
Yeah.
And
Nash jersey would go hard too. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah.
I don't know what number he would get, but I feel like that jersey would go hard.
Whatever number
I wouldn't get it because I'm a bad look charm, but like I feel like that jersey would go hard.
Whatever number he get, it would look tough.
A lot of aura.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I'm telling you, don't let Lazard, drop any balls. Don't let Josh Reynolds get hurt, and Nick Nash come in and go crazy. How tall is he? Like, do you know?
It don't even matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. How tall he is? It don't even matter. Just throw him out there.
If he's at least 6 foot, you good.
He could be 5'8". I don't care. Just throw him out there. Sometimes the
aura
does all the work.
The aura
does all the work. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah. Look it up real quick. Let me see how tall Nate Nash. If he's over 6'1",
it's bad. Oh, he's 6'3". Bro. I'm not gonna mind you. I ain't watched. Like, I'm be real. I'll be very honest right now. I didn't watch any stats. I didn't watch any film. I haven't really looked at stats. he just has this aura about him that makes me feel like, you know what? I take it. I don't even care, bro. I don't care.
That man
I don't care.
6'3". 6'3". He about as tall as Lazard. All right.
Taller than me,
Don't let him catch better than Lazard.
bro. I'm like,
I don't know.
like six.
He can take that number 10 from Lazard, and that Nash 10 will look tough. I don't know. I swear. Hey, if he's winning you parlays, then that's a good sign.
Shit.
That's a good sign to me. That's
I
all I
didn't
need
even know
to
you
hear.
had San Jose State on your parlays. That's you really going wide on this one.
Yeah, no. You be on it.
San Jose State on your parlays is crazy.
Yeah,
I respect it though. You know, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not gonna hold you. My parlays don't work, so you know I'm doing something wrong.
Man, my parlay is looking. I don't know how they're looking right now, but yeah, my Nick Nash. I don't know. That's a. I don't know. That has a potential for a lot of aura for the team and for content creators, because I can already see some
Yeah.
I already have some ideas with Nick Nash and like how I would like spin that into a Steve Nash highlight tape. Let's go. That'd be tough.
That'd be tough. That would be tough. Real quick, because I don't want Jonathan to wait too long. He didn't ask this earlier. Do you see the second pick getting traded? The only thing I'm curious about, I don't know if he means the second pick as in the Browns pick or our second round pick. If he wants to clarify that.
Oh, my guess is he's talking about the Browns pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man.
I wouldn't if I were them.
Really? Yeah. Honestly, I see the Giants trading their pick before the Browns trade their pick.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants would only trade it because like whatever guy was left, they weren't a huge fan of. But they know like everyone is big on Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. But and honestly, I don't exactly know which way they are leaning, but I kind of have a feeling that if it's Abdul Carter that's there, they might trade back just because they have Kayvon, they got Bibbs, and then they got Brian Burns as well. So it's like, I'm not saying that they're set. Like I think Abdul Carter has a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
But it's also just like they have so many holes that it's like the take a guy.
But honestly, if they do take Carter, then Thibodeau immediately becomes a trade.
But who's trading for him? That's the question. Like who's trading for him, and what? The question is: one, who's trading for him? Two, are you getting more value for Tim straight up? Or are you getting for a trade back to Abdul Carter? Like you trade back to like and I don't know, but I'm assuming like the Bears might throw in a first round pick next year for Abdul Carter. No one's giving a first round pick for Tibbs.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. I don't know, but like if I had to guess, maybe just because you have a lot like they're kind of in a worse situation than us right now, in my personal opinion. Just because I think they have more holes. Offensive line has a lot of holes. Neighbors, love him, but the same kind of wide receiver room where it's like outside of Neighbors, nobody, no tight end, not feeling great about the quarterback, running back, defense, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna the whole the whole trade back thing. It's I don't know. I know. I feel like it could happen in those either at 2 or 3, but we'll see. If the Giants are smart, they'll just pick somebody there. But I mean, if somebody is really desperate for an Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, then hey, get what you can get.
Yeah.
Get what you can get.
I actually threw out a trade on Instagram. I was like, what if the Jets traded? I think I said next year's second, and I think I said a fourth this year. Because technically, by that trade draft chart value, it would work. I don't really know if the Giants would take it, but I'm like in theory, theory.
I know it.
You could take, I'm like, a second. If they took their second this year and our second next year, he can get back in the first for sure. You know, he can
Yeah.
probably get a good enough spot to get a Jackson Dart. So it's an intriguing option. I don't know if the Jets would ever do something like that, but you know, anything's possible.
I don't know. I feel like it's either trade down or stay. Right.
That's
Like
fair.
I
That's
don't.
fair.
Yeah. I don't know if we're. I don't know if we might be that desperate for somebody up there.
I wouldn't say desperate. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Oh
think
yeah.
we're desperate for anything right now. Like
Yeah.
not for one specific player, but like it's one of those, if the opportunity was there, the Giants didn't really want it, you know, what are we gonna make that move because you know Glenn wants his guy, like how he got touched when he was on the Lions. So
I think it's gonna be a thing where we see teams trying to trade up, not for Travis or Carter, but more Genty. I feel like teams are gonna get Genty.
I don't understand that, man. I really don't. I don't understand that.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Look, I get that. I understand taking him in the top 10. I don't understand trading assets to get him in the top 10. Like that is insane to me. Trading up, like oh my god, like how good would he have to be worth trading up in the top 10 for him?
I think somebody's gonna do it.
Like you'd have to like even. I'm trying to think. I think the only player that would have been worth it is maybe Saquon. But I think Saquon needs at least a decent O-line. Is like, you know, you kind of have to have things a little figured out to make that type of move. So, but I think Jency has it though. I can't take that away from him.
He got it. He's had that Saquon-esque, you know, career in college. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's speedy. I give him that. You know, he I don't know. He didn't run for you, right? But nonetheless, he looked fast on tape. Dude, he's quick.
He's quick, man. Like I feel like if a coach, if the Bears or the Jaguars or the Raiders, one of them might be Jaguars. I mean, they're sitting at 5. That's been the whole like ramp up this past few days is, you know, Jags want Genty, you know, and whoever wants them got to trade up before the Jags or trade up with the Jags.
There's also a deep running back class. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I understand it. You know, Genty, he's definitely a special player. I think he has a high floor, but even with that, you know, taking him in the top 10 is already crazy enough. Trading up to go take him in the top 10, even crazier. I personally wouldn't do it. That's just me. But you know, to each their own. You know, you really feel good about him. You don't feel good about the guys around, like in the top 10 outside of him. You know, maybe it makes sense.
It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. As long as we ain't doing no, you know, nothing too crazy. We can let everything happen around us and just let whatever falls us get there. But as long as we ain't doing that too crazy, you know, I'm excited to see what unfolds. And it's a lot. Like you said, it is a very deep running back class. So it's gonna be interesting with this one. Let me see here. But yeah,
and he might destroy the league, but I wouldn't trade up to do it. That's just me personally. Yeah. Like it's always, no matter how good you feel about a player, there's always that like percent chance it doesn't work out.
Yeah,
and like you know, it's 10 times worse when it's a running back because it's like there are very few running backs in this league that generally could change a team dynamic. Like, really, it's just like Saquon, Prime, Christian McCaffrey, maybe like a Derrick Henry. That's about it.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys you named, you know, outside of Saquon, were taken like after pick 5.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be. I don't know, man. Somebody's gonna do it. Someone's gonna do it.
Someone's gonna do it. I personally, I don't agree with it. I hope the Jets don't do some. All right, I will preface it because I know this is contradictory. I'm saying now, I did say earlier in the offseason I'd be for it, which I generally like. I wouldn't be mad at it. You know, and my preference was saying, I think it was when draft season first started, I had said, if we can get a second round pick for Brees, then I'd be okay with getting JT. And honestly, I'll stand by that. I just don't think we're going to take a round pick for Brees in this draft class because it's such a deep class.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting one. He's electric.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, no, let's get into your mock real quick.
Yeah.
Ricky Williams. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that guy.
Are you pulling up?
Yeah,
right,
there you go.
All right. So, if you guys were following this whole time, I've been kind of all over the place in my mock drafts. For pick 7, let me say. Circled back around on Warren. Honestly, Warren was always the guy for me. I just having fun for the most part. But I circled back to Warren mostly just because I'm a big tape guy. I'm a big tape guy. You gotta show me what you can do on tape. And that's just something I haven't seen from guys like Membu, even Will Campbell. Kevin Mix is my sleeper. But
yeah.
I didn't love the tape. I liked the tape from other guys. I just didn't love it. I love Tyler Warren's tape. It kind of makes me feel a little bit better about taking a tight end in a top 10 pick. And I think it's just raw potential. I think he has the potential to be a great blocker. He has the potential to be great in the open field, and he has really great potential to do a lot of trick plays in the NFL specifically. I think there's a lot you can scheme around him specifically. That's what intrigues me so much because, especially when you have that hole at right tackle, tight end, and you don't really have a weapon number 2, Warren kind of fills – he doesn't necessarily fill all 3, but he kind of takes a little knock at each one. He can chip on the right side and then go get open after, because I don't really think a lot of safeties in the league are guarding him. You could probably argue a linebacker could, but linebackers aren't the best in coverage. So yeah, I feel good about it.
Hey, I'm all in.
Yeah, so I'm a standby. If they don't take him, it's fine. I'll probably live, but I'm a standby. I think Warren is probably the best move at pick 7. Just my personal opinion. And that leaves right tackle. To me, it's still right tackle's wide open. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if we didn't get a right tackle in day 2, pretty much. If we didn't take one, at least, assuming we didn't pick one at pick 7, if we didn't take one day 2, now I'm really stressing out because I don't really feel comfortable. Especially if somebody it's always if someone goes down too. There's always that worry things go really bad. Josh Connerly was right there. I had to take him. I think in a real draft setting, I don't know if he's there personally.
Yeah.
I think there might be a run on offensive tackles, honestly. So
towards the end of round 1.
Just in general, I don't know where it might be. Offensive tackle, that's the hard part with drafts too. Sometimes someone can show you round 2, round 3 talent on tape. But in reality, it's all about, it's the same thing as life, sometimes. And when things are running out of stock, people go and try to get it. And if there's a run on offensive tackles, even if you didn't have Connerly as a first round grade, take him just because, he's there. And you feel comfortable about him. I'm curious, where a guy like Josh Simmons goes in the mix, but nonetheless, he was there, so I'm taking him. I think the potential's there.
Yeah.
I like it on tape. See how he is on the right side. You do have Warren and Chip for those cases where things aren't as good. But I think no matter who you get in at right tackle, you're, at least day 1, you're not feeling too great about it. But regardless, you got somebody with some high potential there. Jay Higgins, I was honestly really surprised he was even there. I wasn't really planning on taking a wide receiver in the 3rd round. My plan was to take a defensive tackle, but because he was there in this draft, I was like, I'm gonna run with it. And it's not just crazy. You never know what really might happen. Like we could say, oh, Jaden Higgins is a second rounder. You know, like there's a lot of guys, you know, you kind of expect that to down the This case, Jaden Higgins was there in the third round. I took him. You know, I feel like it was definitely the offensive heavy for the first 3 rounds, but I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it because, you know, you get 3 guys that you kind of build around Fields, and you can kind of see where Fields is a little bit and also see where these guys are. But it makes you feel good about the offense. You got a defensive head coach, you know, you tell him, hey, you figure out the defense stuff. But, and that's why next 2 picks, I got Josh Farmer, Elijah Roberts. I wanted to get guys that, you know, that kind of solidify that defensive line. I felt good about both of them in general. I think Elijah Roberts can kind of play that JFM role where he plays a little bit inside, outside. So I like the versatility, loved it. Josh Farmer, I think, could help. Especially like we don't have anyone. I know we got some defensive tackles in the offseason, but I still don't really feel great about our interior, especially in the run game. I think if anything we need to fix, that was number 1. So yeah, I think these 2 guys, you know, you kind of feel a little bit better, at least on the potential of what your defensive line can be. Kyle McCord was a little weird for me because that has not been my guy. I've actually been a little against him all off season, but he was there. My guy was gone. My guy was Gabriel Dixon, but it's all good. I don't hate McCord. You know, he's a home ground dude.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's a Jets fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little attention. It reminds me a lot of Zach Wilson. I'm not gonna lie. That's the only thing I don't like. But you know what?
Don't say that.
Looking back, looking at it though, the one thing I would have said with Zach Wilson that I stand by was that we should have never played him day 1. I think the benefit Kyle McCord would get is that he doesn't have to play day 1. You know, he kind of sits behind the Fields. If Fields get injured, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. So he kind of at least gets 1 year to just figure it all out and then take it from there. Honestly, and that's kind of why I took him here, because at pick 162, if Jordan Travis does show you something that like makes you feel like, oh, I like this guy more than him, you don't feel too bad about saying, all right, I'm kicking this guy to the practice squad, potentially, because obviously it's no guaranteed that a guy will make it to the practice squad. But that's why I'm kind of like, I don't exactly know where they're going to pick a quarterback, but take one a little later that has some potential. I don't mind. I don't mind McCord either. Colin Pierce, this isn't the first time I've taken him. Just a big body. Just a big body, you know?
Yeah, and he's down the street. He's down the street, too.
He's right down the street. You know, he's over there in what's the main campus for Rutgers? New Brunswick?
Yeah.
But not too far. Just a big body. I just offensive tackle, like, you know, doesn't hurt to get another big body. I generally do worry about our offensive tackle depth, because if Max Mitchell has to play another snap, I don't know how I feel. The good thing is he has experience. The bad thing is his experience is bad. And don't get me started with Carter Warren. So I'll leave it there.
How do you feel about this question right here? Do you think the Jets should draft a pass rusher and make McDonald a rotational third down pass rusher?
Personally, I think that's the best case scenario. I just think they have so many holes that it makes it a little harder. That's also why I took a guy like Elijah Roberts, because I do think he could play that like early down defensive end, and then maybe move inside for situational pass situations.
Yeah, he's played
so like I agree though. I really do worry about McDonald's ability to play the edge, especially if he's on the same side as Sauce, because that's just a whole lot of you got McDonald getting drilled back and then Sauce can't make the tackle.
Yeah.
Whatever side that is getting destroyed every time. And that's no disrespect to either one of them. I think, in their own way, they're both great players. Like, McDonald's a great pass rusher. Sauce is a great coverage dude. they're just both terrible in the run game, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, all to say, I do agree.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm with you on that. I think Aaron Glenn, man, he's we don't want to label him just a defensive guy, but he loves his defensive players. So I feel
Yeah.
like, to some capacity, he's gonna, whether it's the first, second, or third, he's gonna, have a pick that's his, and whatever pick is his is gonna be defensive. So I'm expecting us to draft an edge at some point. Jack Sawyer, I wouldn't mind him, but it's like I don't think he really fits the mold of what we're kind of used to at edge. Now if Aaron Glenn, coming from working with Aiden Hutchinson, looks at Jack Sawyer and is like, we could work with you, then that could be something. But I would love Jack Sawyer, but I don't know if it's I just I don't know if it's a possibility. But we have a new regime, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I kind of consider him more of like a 3-4 outside linebacker rather
Yeah.
than a 4-3 outside linebacker. I don't know how, maybe, but I personally I don't see it. Good player though. Can't complain that. I do, like you said, worry about the scheme
Mhm.
matching up, and that's a lot of times that's what guys, teams, let me say, draft for. They draft guys that they feel will do well in their scheme, and that's why it's a little hard when you change, especially like a defensive scheme, because
Mhm.
the 3-4 offensive linebacker is not the same thing as the 4-3 defensive end, and even
Yeah.
though they're both considered edge rushers.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm not sure if he's quick enough to play like an Anzalone role, but you know, I think he's more of like like an outside linebacker, D
Yeah.
lineman guy. But yeah, we'll see.
As for Brees Hall, personally, I think I don't know. I'm gonna just say that I have no freaking clue. I don't know. When it's a new regime, it's very hard to say yay or nay, and they've held their cards very close to the chest.
Very close.
But I wouldn't necessarily doubt it. Like I said, it's a deep running back class. Um, Glenn's already mentioned that he's expecting the running back room to run by committee.
Hmm.
So I generally wouldn't be super shocked. But
Yeah.
I know the Jets already reported to their workouts, their off-season workouts. So I'm sure Brees has had a chance to talk to the coaches to see where his head's at and everything. So I think it's just like a wait and see sort of thing.
Yeah. I think
Contract
it's
coming up.
contract is coming up. Luckily, he was a second round pick, so the 5th-year option doesn't really apply. So I mean, again, we're in a good spot with him. As long as we keep him. If we decide to trade him, then the pressure's on. Now it's like if we trade him,
Mhm.
now it's like whoever we replace him with, or whoever we roll with instead of him, better be good, if not better, right? So I think
Mhm.
the safe thing to say right now is to keep him. You know, let him work with his guys that he got drafted with. Let him work with his new coaching staff, and see what he can do. I feel like he can break out. He can earn himself a contract this year, which he's been solid for us. So I don't see the reason why this regime wouldn't give him a chance to at least show that with them. So yeah,
I think the only reason is just you don't want to pay him.
yeah,
That's
but
really.
yeah,
But I guess it
yeah,
also depends on how much is he looking to get paid. Like I will say, and I don't know how much he's looking to get paid, but
hmm
I can't see him asking for too much because he hasn't even had a year. Well, technically, he hasn't had a year with just 1,000 rushing yet.
yeah.
So I'm curious that I think that has to play a factor into everything as well. Like, what the contract is he looking for?
Yeah,
That I don't know. I can't say.
yeah, man. It's gonna be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what type of contract he's looking for. But at this point, at the moment, I'm gonna say rumor. But you know, we'll see. Yeah. And then I guess your last pick in
Oh
the
yeah, I
mock.
never really said it, but
Yeah.
Max and Hook, I think Glenn's gonna want at least get one safety in his class.
Yeah.
I genuinely do feel like it could come earlier, but it's again one of those where I think there are more holes no matter what you do in the draft than there are players you think can actually fix those holes.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're not gonna fix everything, but I like Max and Hook for the value you get in the 6th round. Just potential. I still call the safety whisperer. And I wouldn't be surprised if we took one as early as day 2, honestly.
I think that might be a higher possibility than what most people may think.
Yeah, I mean, he took Brian Branch, he took Kirby Joseph, both of those day 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Kirby Joseph might have 4th round. I can't confirm or deny that yet. But nonetheless, I know he's a big safety dude. He stems from that defense. He's a defensive back. He was a defensive back coach as well. So he might just go and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take the guy. I assume there is a guy that he really likes earlier on. But in the case that there's not, maybe he takes a guy like Hook later because he rather like in my opinion, if you don't love somebody, just wait for next year because next year you might love somebody and you don't want to tie yourself to somebody without having to.
Yeah, no.
Deep defensive tackle class. So I'm like, take the defensive tackles while you feel good about them. And then if there's a good safety class like next year, you don't feel too bad about taking 1 or 2 if you need to.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he's dipping into that safety bucket for sure. But yeah, no, we'll see. Great mock here. Who do we have? Kicker, man. I don't know.
You think it's great?
I think we'll sign somebody and we'll make it a competition, and I think Greg will lose that. And whatever kicker we sign, and I think whatever kicker we sign, or bring in for the comp, that'll be our kicker. Whoever that guy is.
Nah, it's just you already saying like, yeah, he's gonna lose. You don't even know who it's gonna be, but he's gonna lose to whoever we bring in.
Right, I can just see Glenn just Greg might make some kicks, and then the other guy might make some kicks. I could just see Glenn like, yep, all right, Greg, you're cut.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked to see Greg go back out there next year. I would not. Sometimes kickers just get those weird years that don't make any sense. It's and I will say, last year was very out of the ordinary for Greg. He's never had a year that was that bad. That was out of the ordinary for him.
All Glenn has to do is watch the tape and be like, I don't want no parts of that. I don't want no parts of that right there. We'll just bring another.
But which tape though? It's if you're looking at last year, yeah, I can see that. But if you watch,
that's
that doesn't even look the same kicker.
That's the only year that counts. So it's a what have you done for me lately league. It's a what have you done for me lately league. 2 years ago, yeah, he was on fire, right? But that doesn't matter because last year he wasn't. So
what if he's on fire this year?
Then he can be on fire somewhere else. I don't know if we can take that. I don't know if we can take that.
What if he comes to camp and he's just killing it?
He was the same thing last year. He came into camp killing it. yeah. He came into camp killing it, man. It's like nah. I'd rather bring on destroying at this point.
Didn't he just miss kicks in the
XFL?
He's not in CFL. Yeah, XFL.
I don't know, but it can't be.
I heard that one wasn't going great.
I'm sure it can't be as bad. We will. I'll take.
They got different rules. You miss a.
I'll draft a kicker. I'll draft a kicker. That's
in
fine.
the 6th round.
Yeah, 6th round, or if we trade back to get a 7th round pick, You know,
Yeah.
like I'll draft a kicker. At this
I
point,
think we'll definitely at least at minimum pick up an undrafted kicker
yeah.
and work him out, see how it works, let him compete with Greg a little bit. And I think it's gonna be an honest competition no matter what it is. I don't think they're gonna feel tied to Greg in any way. Greg
Yeah.
costs a lot of money anyways, so I don't think they're gonna feel tied to him. But
Well,
if Greg wins, Greg wins. That's how I look at it. Like, look, man, I'm gonna bring somebody up, bring maybe a couple people in. It's on you to lose your job. That's what it is.
Well, I'll say this: if Greg misses one kick in the preseason, that's all we're gonna hear from
Sheesh.
This is
What
all
if
we're
it's
gonna
like
hear.
a 60-yarder? I don't care.
One kick miss in the preseason. This is all we're getting from Aaron Glenn.
You get the fuck out.
That's messed up, bro.
That's all we get from Aaron Glenn. As soon as Greg
Get the
misses,
fuck out.
Yeah.
that's all we getting, bro. You know, I'll draft a kicker before we get that, but
You think
you know,
you're
I
gonna
guess
end up on the Pat McAfee show too?
yeah.
You can be there right with Rodgers. They're gonna have a joint session.
Well, yeah. Speaking of that, you know, we literally just, you know, after our episode last week, we had
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers going to Pat McAfee show and kind of tell the world what happened in that exit interview, and kind of made us look, you know, made our coach look crazy. You got Devontae Adams weighing in on it, like, oh yeah, once I heard what they said to Aaron, I knew I couldn't be back, you know, or you know, we hear Rodgers talking about how he felt disrespected, how he felt like this, that, and the third, and you know how he couldn't it was hard to talk. They were going back and forth, you know. So, I want to, you know, I kind of want to get something off my chest with that, right? Get something off my chest with that. Last year, right? No, not last year. 2 years ago, Saleh, Woody, and Joe Douglas flew to California at about 11 p.m. and knocked on Aaron Rodgers' door and begged him to come and play for the New York Jets. Give him a whole pitch. Probably had a whole Monopoly chessboard with all the properties and
It was
and
twice.
stuff twice. You know,
Yeah.
like it's, you know, so for him to come out and say that, you know, how dare they have me fly out there on his own dime to
While still
tell him,
being paid by the Jets.
yeah, to tell him, yeah, while still being paid by the Jets, to tell him that we're moving in a different direction, man, how dare he, right? Because if we had broke up with him over the phone, how would it have? That would have been a whole different. Oh yeah, they couldn't even tell me to my face. They just broke with me over. They just told me, you know, they ain't, you know, they're moving on over the phone. Like, come on, man, grow up, man. It's not even that deep. It's not even that deep, bro. You know what I'm saying? We like I said, we fly out there to beg you to come and be with us. You're flying to Egypt. You're flying to the Maldives, Costa Rica. What's a little trip to New York? I heard you was gonna be there anyway. You know, why make it a big deal? Why, yeah, why even make it a big deal on a Pat McAfee show and try to make us look like this, that? Like, no. Yeah, you're a Hall of Famer, right? But what have you done for us? You gave us 5 wins,
Last
5.5
Zach.
wins. Yeah. Zach really gave us that first win when you went down. That wasn't even you. You gave us 5 wins, barely 5 wins. So yeah, no, yeah, we beat the Jags. Congrats. We beat a Tyler Huntley Miami Dolphins.
Don't
Congrats.
forget, it was the Mac Jones Jags, not even the Trevor Lawrence Jags.
The Mac Jones Jags, the Tyler Huntley. Good job, Aaron. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
And
You
and we
ain't-
lost the Pats, dude.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Actually,
Come on, man.
Never mind. I was gonna say
Come on.
lost to the Pats and we lost to the
Come
no,
on.
we beat the Titans.
Come
I
on.
don't even know if that's a real win. We beat the worst team in the league and a bunch of backup.
He threw. I can count. He threw at least 3 game-sealing picks that year, and then gonna blame it. And then gonna blame it on the wide receiver. I mean, I'm probably look. The wide receiver that probably had, a little bit of a hand in it, but he couldn't get a hand on it. He couldn't get a hand on those passes. So,
Yeah, not to mention we did everything he asked for. He wanted Lazard, we got Lazard. He wanted Devontae, we got Devontae. He wanted Cobb, we got Cobb. We wanted Hackett, we got Hackett. Like it was like we gave him everything he wanted.
What more do you want from me? What more did you want from us? Oh yeah, and add in the Will Levis Titans. Thanks.
Will Levis beat himself. Honestly, we didn't even beat the Titans. The Titans beat themselves. That's the sad part.
Oh my gosh, man! Looking back at this season where we barely got 5 wins, he didn't even beat anybody. More than half of those wins were against Mac Jones, Will Levis, and Tyler Huntley. Are you kidding me? What were the other 2 against?
Drake May, because we beat the Pats.
Yeah, that was the
last win.
No, that was really Jacoby Brissett most of that game.
Yeah,
because Drake May didn't even come in towards the end. Drake May the whole game beat him, and CJ. Okay, well, CJ Stroud. Yeah, well, you can.
Yeah, but that don't even count. That was before. That was when they didn't have Nico.
Yeah, you can thank. Yeah, they didn't have Nico. You can thank Garrett Wilson for the catch of the year because that was
one solid team. You beat in an entire 17 game stretch.
Just
we did get Adrian Amos as well, who also was a very big bust.
Damn it.
Yeah. Shout out Rodgers. Let's just clap it up.
Good job.
For fucking nothing. I'm sorry.
Good job, Rodgers. Thanks. Yeah. They're gonna go on Pat McAfee and try to bash our new head coach, leader of culture that he's trying to change, and you just going just take a dump on it. All right,
it's like a salty ex.
It's
like,
so crazy.
It's like you just broke up, and it's like they're over there going on Instagram talking about you, and it's like, for what? Talking about me for what?
For
we
what?
Broke up. You didn't even want to be with me.
They weren't even like. They didn't even have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, like
when you broke up, you was like, "Do you want to be with me?" I maybe. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you mean, maybe?
The man asked you, "Do you want to play football?" And your answer was, "I'm interested." Okay. Oh, you're interested? All right. Well, guess what? You can interest your way out this door. We ain't into that. If you want to be
interested in another team.
Yeah. You could be interested. You could be interested in that flight, that round trip. Because we ain't no. If you want to be a Jet, he was gonna have to be like, I want to be a Jet. I want to bet. I want to play here. That was what had to happen if you want to be back here. And the show our coach that this isn't Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. All right. These are new guys. This ain't them guys that was calling at your door at 11 p.m. over there on the West Coast, trying to, bring Uno cards and Monopoly to persuade you to come over here. Like, no, bro. No. This is not that. And I'm glad Aaron Glenn showed Aaron Rodgers who the bigger Aaron now. All right. Let's play this one more time.
Get the fuck out.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what? Like, I will say this. I respect that, Glenn was very upfront. And that's why I say, like, there was no winning in that situation. It's like, Glenn's a very upfront guy. He's gonna tell you what he's feeling and how he is. And it is what it is. He straight up told you, like, look, like, are you interested in football? Like, oh, all right, do you want to play football? You say I'm interested. Basically, based on the answer, he said, oh, look, I'm not going to sit here and waste your time anymore because I already had my answer.
I'm going to tell it to your face.
He was basically, like, to me, that sounded like a last chance question. Like, look, I'm already 90% out. But if you sit here and you tell me, look, no, I'm dedicated, I'm all in, like, I'll give you that chance at least to sit there and prove that you were all in. And then once you didn't give him an all-in response, he was like, all right, cool. We're not going to do this bullshit.
It wasn't not an all-in response. That was not an all-in response. And like you said, as soon as he gave him that, I'm interested. What you got for me? Yeah, we're going the other way, buddy. Get out. Yeah, Uno is lit, and Eric can draw 4. Aaron can take his ass and draw 4. That's all, that's it. He can draw 4. Aaron Rodgers can draw 4.
Shout out Woody, man.
AG hit him with that
Woody's
draw
it.
4. AG hit him with that skip. Man. Yeah, AG hit him with that skip draw 4. Said, all right. Don't need to worry about it. I don't need to hear nothing else. Aaron Rodgers talking about, you don't know me, and that's why I'm trying to get here to get to know you. And
nobody's like, but not everyone has time for those type of games, man.
Yeah,
especially like we know we don't have a team to compete. We just saw it last year.
Yeah,
so we really don't have time for these like bullcrap games to sit here and see. Like, obviously, even if Rodgers is the same quarterback he was last year, we need a lot of help. That was the reality of it. It is what it is. Like, I don't think he was necessarily bad. I think Rodgers was still like just a decent quarterback. I think there was just more problems than we gave ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
And we're farther away than we thought we were.
Yeah. Hey, we all watched Enigma. All right. We know we know who you are, buddy. You know what I'm saying? AG, let him know who he is. All right, look, he comes from the Bill Parcells tree. They don't go for no BS, man. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't go for that. They don't go for that, mysterious, let me pick your brain about, what you think went wrong. Like, who cares? Why even take the time to ask him what went wrong if he's not gonna be there anymore? Who like, okay, yeah, all right,
yeah.
Who cares? All right, it's like, you don't even.
It doesn't really benefit Glenn too, just because
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But it doesn't really benefit Glenn because, honestly, as a new coach coming in, you kind of want everyone to come in with a fresh slate, Like, it's more about it's like what you said. It's like, what have you done for me recently? How are you showing up every day? How are you doing this? Like, it doesn't matter what you did last year. It doesn't anymore. This is a whole new season. This is going to be a whole new team, whole new scheme. Like, the players might not necessarily all change, but it's a whole different scheme or regime around it. So, you might have been doing that because you had a bad coach, no disrespect. You don't know. So, I think it's better that he goes in with a little bit more of like a fresh mind, coming to everybody where they're at, and then just see like, hey, is this guy serious about playing football? Like, I think that's for everybody. Are you serious about playing football next year? Or are you just gonna like, oh, it's the Jets, we're gonna lose anyways. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Here's the door. You can leave.
And see, like even right now, even on that whole Pat McAfee show, he still didn't give us an answer on where he's playing next, right? And imagine if we're in that position.
Oh my gosh, bro.
And like we were still thinking about like, oh, is Aaron Rodgers gonna come back? He's gonna play with the like that would piss me off.
I know. At this point, if
That
Rodgers was still technically on the roster, he was doing that, I'd be like, yo, cut him and just take Short. I'm not doing this, bro. Bro, I'm not. Exactly. I'm really, bro.
That's what it would have been.
I'm not doing this.
I need one.
I'm not. I'm really not.
I'm not. No, bro. Exactly. That's exactly what it would have been too. It would have been us sitting around and waiting. And I know that Aaron Glenn, he came into this and like again, Aaron Glenn has ties here. This is personal for him. You know what I'm saying? This is a personal mission for him. And he wasn't gonna come in here and feel like he doesn't have the reins, right? So yeah, he was like, yeah, we're gonna pursue Fields, we're gonna do this. Exactly, yeah. Definitely, Dev. Like I'm glad we got Fields.
Thanks.
I'm glad we got him because Fields wants to play. He has a chip on his shoulder. Aaron Rodgers doesn't really have a chip on his shoulder. He's a Hall of Famer. He just went through a whole season, got through it, had a down year, and he's really the finger's really not being pointed at him as to why the Jets had a bad season last year. It's no more pressure for him.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Fields is more of like a win-win situation in my opinion. Best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, he just really develops and becomes a top 10 quarterback. I think that's a little far-fetched, but even if you just become an average quarterback, that's a major win in my opinion. You pick a guy up off of free agency. You got a 2-year contract. You kind of go into next year. You got your quarterback still solved. Now you just keep building around him from that point. On the flip side, he is terrible. You're in good position to go take a quarterback next year. Like, it's a win-win situation, in my opinion. Like, if he really is that bad, as some people, some of these Jet fans really do believe he is, and, you're picking top 10 next year again. So, either way, you're kind of winning pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I hope at this point in his career, he is good. His third team, 2 teams gave up on him after showing promise. So I'm hoping, Justin is here to stay. So, but yeah, I'm glad
both teams honestly kind of regret it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think the Bears took Caleb because they felt like he was going to be this like basically Hall of Fame quarterback. And granted, I know it's only been 1 year, but so far not good. And then on the flip side, the Steelers wanted Fields back, and they realized they made a mistake. They couldn't get him back. So I think those are good signs that you don't have a terrible quarterback at least. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm just glad that I'm glad Aaron Glenn stood on business, right?
Thanks.
Right, because and not to put anybody down, right? Salah was my guy, but Aaron Rodgers had that man in a chokehold. We all saw it.
Yeah.
We all felt it.
Yeah.
We all saw.
Salah been like, I don't want Rodgers to feel bad.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers had that man in a chokehold. Joe Douglas, I think, was kind of, he was getting to his ends with, but he got shown the door before he can even do anything about it. So, Woody Johnson, he's just a bystander here. We have to deal with him no matter what. So
make Chris the owner.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron Rodgers had good things to say about Chris Johnson.
Honestly, no one has anything bad to say about Chris. Everything that's bad is Woody,
Yeah,
and not this Woody, but
yeah,
Woody Johnson.
yeah. No, it's Woody Johnson. He needs to just sit back
Yeah,
and just kind of let Muji and Aaron Glenn kind of run this show. And I think because of everything that happened last year, we're gonna see a shift in the way that Woody does things. Right, we're gonna see a big shift in the way Woody does things. So, yeah, it's I don't want to I don't want to be that person to say, oh, we have the same owner, like expect the same stuff. Like, no, I think this year we're gonna get a different Woody Johnson when it's a little more hands off, because we just saw how he let Aaron Glenn kind of stand on business himself. We didn't hear about Woody Johnson being in that room. It was just Aaron Glenn and Mooj. So, hey, Aaron Glenn told him to get the fuck out of here. And that's what it is. I hope Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers. I hope he goes to the Steelers so that game can be prime time, and Justin Fields can get his get back. Aaron Rodgers can try to get his get back. But if we grab Sanders, then the same old Woody. We're not gonna draft Shador, guys.
yeah, man. I honestly, I think if we did like the highest we the quarterback is Jalen Milroe. I'm gonna stand on that take. Honestly, even then, I don't really see a world where we take a guy like Jalen Milroe. I think he actually could be good. He's so raw. Like, I don't think I've seen a guy coming out of Alabama so raw. Like, you don't really expect it from like a guy coming out of Alabama just because of like the amount of resources they have. You kind of expect it from a little bit more of like smaller schools, which I think I'll feel a little bit better about it. I don't know, man. It's one of those things. I do think we should. Snap. I don't like Drew Aller. I'm not a huge fan of him personally. I'm actually not a fan of him at all personally. Maybe he develops again. Just like I feel the same way about Drew Aller as I do about Joe Burrow in a way where it's just so raw, like very talented, but so raw. It's just like if you could just figure out a way to get all that talent and skills that you have and mold it, it'd be great. It's a lot of banking on your coaches.
I'm good on Allar. He's it's just like his last name is just Allen and Lazard mixed. I don't even like how that looks. I don't even like how that looks, right? And
Allard to Lazard.
Yeah, and like when we saw Penn State playing in the playoffs, the college playoffs, like again, we just did not see that dog. Like I want to see the people we draft out of college. I want to see that dog in them in big games. And I remember watching Penn State and watching Allar, and I was just like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This guy cannot be a Jet. He was like Christian Hackenberg 2.0. Right? I'm good. I cannot do that. I cannot do that to myself. It cannot. Okay. Allar cannot be a Jet. He doesn't even. He looks like Christian Hackenberg, and
he does. I'm not gonna lie. That is enough for me not to draft him. I know that's really bad, but just can't do it. Lacks aura. Like it's not like a Nick Nash. Like if Nick Nash at quarterback, I could do, man.
No aura.
Like you can convince me on Nick Nash at quarterback, or you can convince me on Drew.
Oh yeah. Nick Nash has aura just off his name.
Shout out Nick Nash, man. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know. Shout out Arch Manning. Shout out Arch Manning.
Shout out Archie Manning, man.
Yeah, man. If Arch Manning, if we have the number First of all, if we have the number 1 pick next year, I will say a lot of things went wrong. A lot of things went very wrong.
So I don't even think Archie Manning is going to come out next year. I think he's gonna play.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think he's gonna play a whole year at Texas. He's gonna play a whole year at Texas, be the guy, play another year, then get drafted.
He doesn't need the money.
Absolutely not.
You know, like I think right now it's all about like what his career is going to be. So I think it also doesn't help if we are the number 1 pick, because I'm pretty sure everyone in his family will be like, whatever you do, don't go to the Jets. I don't think his family has a good opinion on the New York Jets.
We're gonna have to trick him into becoming a Jet if that happens. We're gonna have to
just tell him that we're gonna trade out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to or just wait until like it's like certain that he is declaring after this year. Like everybody's pressuring him into it as far as analysts and people are like, Archie better declare. And then we do bad, and then it's like, okay, all right. Well, Archie is looking like
that's not enough. You have to tell him, like, yeah, I know we're the number 1 pick, but I swear we're gonna trade out. I swear on everything. I swear on my mom. I swear on my dad. We're trading out. And then you basically just said at that point,
I swear on Joe Namath.
Your parents are like, you know, you kind of just sworn your parents and you lied. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. You know, if my job was on the line, my multi-million dollar job was on the line, I'd probably do it. I'd probably lie. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, yeah, we're gonna trade out. I'm not fucking trading out. Yeah, screw that, man. Take me, bro. You come here. Welcome to New York.
We train out of shit.
Yeah, I'd call him on draft day. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I got you, buddy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, it don't matter. It do not matter. You come to the Jets.
I ain't gonna hold you, Archie. We gonna pick you number 1, bro. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna hold you, or at least, you know, give up a king's ransom to trade up a few spots to get number 1 at least.
If someone wants to give us, like, all right, like, let's say the Cowboys, right? That's just because the Cowboys would want to do some stupid shit like this.
Yeah,
give us. I want Dak and 3 first-round draft picks. That's what I want. And you know what? See, because I feel like it.
Hey, who?
That was just a draft day reference.
Yeah, no. See, because no. It's gonna be.
I feel like.
Nah, man. It's gonna be like, no, we can't. Hopefully, again, we're not even in a position to draft Archie. I mean, but if we are, so be it. You know, it'll be okay. But Justin Fields to the moon right now. I'm all Jet Justin. I'm all about Jet Justin. So I'm ready to see how that pans out. And it starts with him getting a weapon in Tyler Warren. That's where it starts. You know, the Warren Warriors are all together. You know, we're all uniting here. We're all coming together. I feel the good energy. I feel it. You know, I feel it. So, yeah.
You want to know a fun fact? And because Rich Samini just posted this not too long ago. Yesterday was the 30th anniversary of the 1995 draft when the Jets drafted Kyle Brady, tight end from Penn State, who was 6'6", 260 at pick number 9. Tyler Warren, on the other hand, is 6'6", 256. If we took I'm not gonna lie, that type of stuff is kind of funny. That is hilarious to me.
Perfect, and you know they're gonna be playing that clip.
Tomorrow.
If that's the case. But
I
you
think
know
there's gonna be a lot of LOL
Perfect.
Jets going on if we take him now.
It's perfect though. It's perfect because that is the I guess full circle moment that we didn't know that we needed, right? You know, it could be Mason Graham and Tyler Warren on the board. And it's gonna be the same thing. History repeats itself? I think not. It's gonna be it is gonna repeat itself, but it's gonna be a different outcome.
I was gonna say, well,
Yeah.
technically,
Technically, yeah.
if Mason Graham is Warren Sapp, then
That's a good one.
I don't really
But
know. I don't really know if we're making the right decision here.
we didn't have anybody when during that draft. Though. We didn't have a Warren like an already beast defensive tackle on the team when it was Warren Sapp or Kyle Brady back then. I don't think we did. So, who was the coach? 1995 was that Parcells? No,
I don't know. That's very long. That was older. It's older than me.
y'all let me know who's the coach in 1995 for the Jets. Who made that? Who made that Kyle Brady decision?
I will say this though, because I've been hearing a lot of smoke this week going on around it, and I just want to come out and say it because I've been hiding. I've been hiding in the bushes, hiding behind trees and stuff. The Jets take Calvin Banks. I think I'm going to be the only happy Jets fan in the world. I think I'm going to be the only fan of an offensive line. Like, I don't think anyone's really a fan of him. I don't really know why people hate him so much, but I love it. I just want to state that here right now that, like, ahead of time, if we were to take him, I'm happy with it. I like the tape. I don't really know. I think, like, sometimes when you get guys that have been so highly touted, they start to get like people start over fixating over like really small stuff where it's like, like that stuff can be fixed, man. And it's like, sometimes like people say stuff where it's like, that doesn't even make any sense. It's like, oh, well, Kevin Banks is small, but you like Armand Membo? Like, what? That's right. Doesn't make any sense. It's just all to say that, like, there's never really a definite right answer when it comes to this draft stuff. It's all vibes and feelings, and you can watch the tape you want, but it's hard to really know.
It's all vibes. It's all vibes. That's what it is. Was Kyle Brady doing the stuff that Tyler Warren was doing? I don't think so.
I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely not. I don't know what they. I don't know what they saw in Kyle Brady back then, but it won't no Tyler Warren highlights. Tell you that much.
It's also such a different league too.
Yeah,
like 1995, like the tight end in 1995 versus the tight end in 20. Like good example, Kyle Brady had 365 yards that year. They took him. I don't even know. And mind you, I wasn't even born. Yeah. What the heck makes you take a tight end that had 300-something yards at pick 9? That doesn't make any sense. Tyler Warren had what? Crazy. 4 times the amount of yards in 1 year? Like
4 times the amount of yards, about 200 rushing yards, and I think a passing touchdown as well. A few rushing touchdowns as well.
He definitely has some rushing touchdowns. I don't know if he had a passing touchdown. He might have. He was ex-quarterback. I know he can throw the ball.
I don't know if it was this past year, but either the year before or this past year, he definitely had a rushing touchdown.
I know he for sure.
I mean, a passing touchdown. Yeah, he definitely had one.
Yeah, but Kyle Brady, he didn't really run. He didn't run. He doesn't have any stats of running the ball. Like it's not the same player at all. Now can you still debate that? Like I know we got JJ over there saying that Warren's not a top 10 pick, and it's a fair statement. Like if you feel what you feel, like I said, it's all vibes. You gotta go with your own gut at the end of the day. Understanding that none of us have a decision at the end of the day. Like I don't think I'm gonna what I say matters to Aaron Glenn or Moogie for that matter. Yeah. But you do your own research, you come up with your own theories. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I remember a few years ago I was like banging the table for JSN, and year one I was like
I still think it's crazy that we passed on JSN. I will say that I still think that year that it's crazy. It's kind of crazy that we passed on JSN because he's a dog and he's a teammate of Garrett's.
Year one he didn't really do like amazing stuff. Year 2 he did a little better. Yeah. Like it goes back to say like you never really know. Even like Will McDonald, like I didn't hate the Will McDonald pick. It just was like it just never made sense to me. I was like, you
That
took
no,
him.
that one threw me off guard. Like I had
It
no.
didn't make any sense. We had Bryce Hall, we had JFM, we had Quinn, and we had JJ at that point. So it was like the last thing I thought was like, oh, what's a problem on this team? A defensive lineman. Like that. Well, granted, we lost
Yeah, never have
Huff
I.
and we lost JFM
Yeah,
later on,
yeah,
but we lost
never.
because we had McDonald.
Yeah, never had I ever felt like that. Like the mock graphics that I made leading up to that point were the most useless thing ever. I was like, I remember when we made the pick, I was like, okay, well, McDonald, all right, where was he ranked? Like, where was he in any of these mocks?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like
Everyone was either
nobody.
Broderick Jones or
Yeah,
JSN. And I remember
yeah,
at that time, and you know what's crazy? And I'll say the same. I said the same thing about Broderick Jones as I'm saying about Ron Membu, where it's like, could he be good? Maybe. Very raw. The athleticism's there. Broderick Jones had the height and the size that you wanted. Armand Membu doesn't really have the size that you would want in a tackle, but like doesn't hurt. He has decent sized arms. A little short, but you can live with that because he has everything else you'd want.
yeah,
But like just tape doesn't stand out. It's just it stands out in a bad offensive tackle class. So when you look at it like that,
yeah.
it's all this stuff. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to like kind of. It's hard to evaluate. It's like, and I hate that every year I'm always locked into one guy, right? I'm always like very enamored with one person, and it hasn't really worked out. So I'm afraid of tomorrow. I'm afraid of what's gonna happen tomorrow because
I mean, you called Broderick. I said Broderick. You called the tight end last year.
well, you talking about Brock?
Yeah, you called Bowers. You were big on him. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I wasn't. I was big on getting offensive tackle, and I'll stand on that
yeah,
still. Granted,
yeah,
I was very big on getting Fuega, which
yeah, yeah,
if we would have had, in my opinion, if we would have had Fuega and Banks, we'd be killing it right now.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
even, no, I'm gonna stand on it. Banks,
I'm
we've
glad.
got Banks this year, and we would have Fuega last year. We'd
Yeah,
have an elite offensive line.
for
Within
sure,
the next couple years.
for sure. And Olu, I get it. He was a player that dropped to us. It wasn't like we had to reach. He was like a top 5 player that dropped
Yeah, I
to
never
us.
even expected him to get to
Yeah,
our pick
nobody
anyways.
nobody really expected him to get there. Um, and he's a great tackle. Like he was, and it's somebody that we didn't even know that we needed because
I mean, he
Tyron
was the
Smith.
best pass blocker
Yeah,
in that class, and like I said,
that's
like
it.
I wasn't expecting Tyron Smith to be that bad.
Me neither. Me neither. I was like, we have Tyron Smith. Why we draft? Why are we wasting a pick on a tackle that's just gonna sit behind him? But
Yeah,
clearly, Joe Douglas needs something. So shout out Joe Douglas wherever he's at. Shout out Joe Douglas. All right. He did what he could in the draft on draft day, and I can't be that mad at him. So appreciate you, JD, wherever you at right now, fishing on the Jersey Shore or whatever.
I think he's probably far away from Jersey.
I don't know. He might still be up there, man.
I got some PTSD at this point.
He might still be up there. Might still be up there on
Bye,
the dock
Steve.
fishing. All right, Steve. But we're probably gonna wrap it up here soon. What are your final thoughts? Going into draft day tomorrow, how you feeling? What are the vibes? It's finally here. We're less than 24 hours away. How we feeling, man? How we feeling?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my little nephew. He's turning 3 months soon. I'm trying to get him to watch the game. Be like, they'll watch the draft and be like, he could be a Jets fan, and try to get him groomed early. Hopefully,
there you go.
they're decent by the time he grows up.
Yeah.
But nah, for real though, I'm excited. I'm at a point where I'm just like, just take an offensive player, man. I don't care which one. I think I can talk myself into either one. offensive tackle, tight end, even T-Mac. I can even talk myself into Shador at this point.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. But like, we take a defensive player that is not Mason Graham or Abdul Carter. I know Abdul Carter really shouldn't be there 7, but if we don't take one of those two and we take a defensive player, I don't think I'm gonna be happy. I think I'm gonna be very sad. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Especially
just makes me
with the
depressed.
depth, especially with the how deep of a
I don't care
defensive
about
depth
any of
is.
that. I don't care. When you have a defensive head coach, I think you should put more. I always feel that way. Like, you have an offensive coach, put some more into the defense. You have a defensive coach, put more into your offense, because
Yeah.
if you're that good of a coach to where on your side of the ball you became a head coach, most likely you can figure it out with less resources. You got a first-time offensive coordinator. Kind of help him out. Don't leave him on an island to try to figure out a lot of our problems, which we had problems. We had some serious problems last year. That's why we won 5 games and not more than that.
Yeah. Nah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we have 8 draft picks, Aaron Glenn, so we ain't got to take defense first round. All right? And our defense isn't the biggest hole or problem on this team right now.
Yeah.
So, draft is all about getting the best player available, in my opinion, and then it's needs. And if you want to go in that route, the best player available at 7 will probably be an offensive player. And if you want to go needs, then offense. Like, that's where it's at. So, and then the rest of the rest of the rounds, you can get your defensive guys. You can draft as much defensive guys as you want to, in my opinion. I don't care. But first round, I feel like it should be that offense. I'm excited about the draft tomorrow. I get off like an hour before the draft, so I'm gonna be speeding home to like make sure I'm locked in. But yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to see how this all unfolds. I'm ready to see how what we do in this new era, this new Jets era. I'm ready to see how it starts. Right. So yeah. Hopefully we don't wet the bed. And we get the guy that is gonna be an immediate impact for our team in 2025. So
yeah, I have half the mind to get on live tomorrow, to be honest.
yeah, so I really might think about it.
Just to get like a live reaction. I don't think I've never done like a live reaction for the draft.
Yeah,
so
me
I
neither.
think that'd be a little
Plus it's like it's only one pick, right? So
yeah, you go to pick 7. You're not waiting forever, because that'd be a long ass live.
Yeah.
Even we joined like pick 5, and you kind of start getting. I mean, it just doesn't work if we trade up, but.
Yeah, we're not gonna be on for too long. We just gotta make sure we're like synced in as far as just like like whatever network we on, gotta be the same one. Yeah. But all right, y'all. All right, fellas. We will catch y'all. If we can get on tomorrow or this weekend during picks, we definitely will. But in the meantime, lock in with us. Happy draft day. Happy draft day, everybody.